On the last video in our Blockhouse series, we did the cladding on the walls, and we have the front wall done and 2/3 of each of the side walls done. So now today I'm going to start with a 1x6 board over here. That's going to be this side of the door, and I'm just going to get it level here on the wall. And the largest diameter log here is this one, so I'm tight up against that log there, and I'm now straight up and down. I've got my board resting on my stone foundation down here. Just check it once more. If I want my door straight, I need to ensure this board is straight. Okay. Next, I'm going to cut some pieces to go in between each log here for support, so that when we make our first cut down this edge, each of these logs is going to have something that it rests on here. Now for that, I've got a bunch of blocks sitting here, and a few of these are pressure treated, so I think I'll start with these down low here where most of the weather will end up. I'm not going to be cutting this first log here. I'm going to instead bring my floor on the inside to level with that, and then I've built a step here to come out off of. This is going to be a little bit difficult with the roundness of the logs to get an exact measurement. Maybe if I do that, 5.5 inches. So that's what I'll cut my first 2x4. And we'll cut 2 of these blocks and put them together. Take our 2 blocks and put them together. Okay, we've now got a decent little pressure treated block to go in between the logs. And that's a perfect fit. Here's a close-up of what we're doing, and you can see the block we've put in here that'll support this log. We're going to have a block in between each log as we go up the side of the door, and then we have our board nailed in to every log as well, starting at the bottom and coming to this one and then that one and so on, which then also helps to support the weight of the logs here. Now when we cut our door, we're going to have to come down here and cut these logs off, and then we're going to put another board in this way running up the height of the door, and that's going to also nail into the butt ends of these here. So they'll have support underneath from the side and from the front when we're done, which is going to hold everything still together well. We've got the first door frame done over here. This is again a 1x6 board, and we made blocks to space in between each of our logs to support them. I'm now on to the second one. I'm just going to repeat the process. The first thing though that I've done is measure out my door, and I think I want my doors to be 48 inches. That way I can get some more of these 1x6, and it'll be 4 boards on each door, and I don't think those will be overly heavy. The doors on my other gatehouse were 54 inches, so and they worked out fine. So this door is going to be 48. that means that I also have to allow for another 1-inch board here on the inside of the door frame on either side. So that's 2 more inches, which means I want to go 50. And then if I want a little gap in between the door where the 2 doors come together, I might want to allow like another 1/4 inch. I know when I made my other doors, they came together really tight. So after measuring 50 inches, I made a mark here on a couple of the logs. And that's my guide now to put my board here. Next, you want to make sure your door frame is straight up and down. Got the roof dripping on me. That might have been a mistake to have the roof slope down on the side you want your door on, because I'm always going to have stuff now coming down here. Okay, check it again. Okay, and 2 nails to steady my board here. Then I can nail everything in place and I'll start doing my blocks on this side. Here's a look at the door frame on either side. Got them blocked. And now we're ready to cut the door. The last time I cut a door out of a building like this, I used the chainsaw. Today I thought, just out of caution, that I would try using the handsaw first. In the woods, most of the time I use a bow saw. I find this is just a better tool than a silky saw. But this is one of the occasions where having one of these actually comes in handy. So I think going forward, if I need to do carpentry work with logs, I'm going to always make sure I have one of these. This here will slide right into any small space where even the needle nose, we call it a bow saw, can't get in there to help me in this situation. To start a cut, I'm just going to keep my blade held tight against my surfaces here. Last log here to cut for the door. Okay, so that's our final log cut on our door. I mentioned in our last video where we found the cauda bear trap, we're going to be going in there this winter and doing forestry work on a new block of woods. And I'd like to get a bridge built to cross that little stream there. So cutting the door here served 2 purposes. One, to get us into our building, but these logs are also going to be used to help build the bridge. Here's a look at the logs we cut. And you can see how these might be used to make a footbridge to go across. Coming up to the door, we still have 1 log that spans the entire bottom of the building. And we have 2 logs at the top of the door coming across here. That holds everything together well. And here's going through our door. Eight by 12 in all. That's about all we can do on this project for this winter. We have to build the floor up in the spring to come level with this log, and this is not the time of year to try to get rocks out of the ground, so we've got to wait until next spring when everything softens up, and then we'll haul up a whole lot more rock and spread it out here and build our floor up. And so unless we get to the doors here this fall, that's probably the last part that we're going to show on this build until next year, and then we'll finish it off and show the final result sometime next spring. Thank you all for following along with the building projects. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this gives people an idea of how to build for cheap out of the raw materials in their forest, and I'm happy that I'm getting some infrastructure here in on the property that I'll be able to use in future years. So cheers, thanks for watching, like and subscribe.